The last package that I want to mention is called Magritte-R, and it provides the pipe function. So that's what you see here. This is the pipe. So, and the pipe allows to easily combine multiple functions. In R, there are 3 ways for combining functions. So you can do one after the other, creating helper data frames to store the intermediate results. So in this example, you first filter all the cars from empty cars that contain 6 cylinders. And you store the result in a helper data frame that's called empty cars 2. And then you use empty cars 2 as the input for the next function. In this case, the select function, to select specific columns from empty cars 2. So for beginners, this is the best way to combine functions. It's the most comprehensive way of combining functions. However, it does generate a lot of helper data frames in your environment that you're not really interested in, that just clutter your environment. You can also nest the functions. So that's what we do here. Nesting means that you write functions inside other functions. And R will always start with the most nested function. So in this example, R will start by filtering the cars with 6 cylinders. And it will use the result of the filtering, a data frame with cars that contain 6 cylinders, as input for the select function. So the difference with the previous approach is that the cars with 6 cylinders are never saved in a separate variable. So this reduces the amount of variables that is created by the code. Because some people have difficulty reading and understanding nested code, the pipe operator was implemented. So it just depends what your brain prefers. Some people prefer to work with nested functions, they don't mind. Other people prefer a linear way of working. Yeah? So it's really whatever works for you, there's no right or wrong here. A linear way of working is offered by the pipe. Instead of working your way from the inside of the nested code towards the outside, you can now start by defining the input here. So you define the input followed by a pipe, and then you specify the first function that you want to execute. So in this case, filtering the cars with 6 cylinders. This will retrieve cars with 6 cylinders, and this output is then sent via the pipe as input to the next function. So what are we going to do with the cars with 6 cylinders? We are going to select a number of columns for these cars. You can use the pipe in combination with an assignment, and this will store the overall result of the whole code. So in this example, it will store the selection for the cars with 6 cylinders in a new data frame. So you see that all the actions except here the storing, except the assignment, are written in the order that they should happen, from left to right. This is the first input, then you do the first function, it will generate a first output. This first output is sent to the second function that will use it as an input, and the second function will generate a second output. And that's the one that is ultimately saved in this new variable.